enterprise class structure. If you remember, that day I have shown you a cake-like structure, a layered architecture. I said that we build applications in Pega like a cake, situational layer cake. I have shown you a diagram on that day. The same thing I'm going to explain you in detail today. Every project in Pega follows this architecture. We call it as enterprise class structure, and this is the most frequently asked interview question. So please focus on this. So every application in Pega usually has 4 layers. Again, all 4 are not mandatory. Few of them are optional. So the 4 layers are organization layer, divisional layer, framework layer, and implementation layers. Now, what exactly are these layers from coding point of view? If you are a developer, okay, and if you have worked on any other technology or tool earlier, let me tell you, each layer is nothing but a class. I hope you know Java, you know classes in Java. Class is just a collection of rules, right? So each of these layers are just classes. So this is one class, second class, third class, fourth class, and I can have n number of classes inheriting from each of these parent classes. So these 4 are the parent classes below which you can create n number of classes. Okay, but these 4 are the basic architecture for us. So if I start building a project in PRPC, I am supposed to create these classes first, then I can go ahead and create the rest. Now, what is the organizational layer and why do you need this? Organization means company, right? So anything which is reusable at company level, at organization level, put it in this class. Now something may be like a table, a database table, which holds some information which is reusable at organization level. Maybe something related to organization policies or some organization changes, something you can have a table, or sometimes it can even be an employee details. You can put them at organization layer. Okay, usually in organization layer we only maintain data. We don't maintain any piece of code like flows, functions. We usually don't do that. We maximum maintain only data. So organization layer is a layer or a class where you put some tables which are reusable across the organization. Okay. Now why should I put here? What is the benefit of putting it here? See, if this is an organization, let's take something like HSBC. It's a bank. Okay, HSBC is a bank for those who don't know. Okay, now for this I have built a project where I have organization, division, framework, and implementation layers. So this is my organization layer. Now in this I'm going to place some tables. Now what is the advantage of doing this? Under this organization I have 2 Pega projects. Now every project within my organization is supposed to follow my organization guidelines, or if it's a table like employee details, it's common for both the projects. There's no difference, right? So in that case, why do you want to rebuild this table in each of your projects that you're going to build? Today I only have 2 projects. Down the lane it might increase to 3, 4, 5 and so on. Now, why do you want to build this table again and again for each of your projects and dump the data? Okay, let's assume that I have built it, I have dumped the data in project 2, 3, and 4. Now, tomorrow I have to add 10 more records. I have to add it in 1, 2, 3, 4. In every single project, every table which is related to employee details, I have to again dump the data. Now, some people left my organization. I have to remove the records. You have to do it in again all the 4 projects, all the 4 tables. Why don't you make it reusable? Why don't you have one common table and make it reusable across all the projects of your organization, because it's a common table at org level. So that is the reason we create something called as organization layer. We put everything common at organization level in this layer, and when a new project is going to be built, I give them this layer, which is nothing but I extract the jar of this table or the code, and I give it to the second project. They are going to import it. Similarly, I'll import it in the third, I'll import it in the fourth, and so on and on. They're going to import your code. They're going to import the jar file which you give. And they are going to reuse all the tables which are defined in the organization layer. So everybody is going to reuse this one common table. So this is going to be a common table for all your 4 projects. Now tomorrow, if I'm supposed to add 10 more records, I'll just add it in one single table. If I'm supposed to delete some 10 records, I'll delete it in this one single table, and it's going to have its impact on all the 4 projects. So this is organization layer. Anything which is common at organization level and reusable in all the projects can be dumped in this layer. Now, what kind of names can I give to my organization layer? We usually name it like the name of your organization. It should be the name of the organization. So it can be something like, if it's for HSBC, you can write it as HSBC. If it's for Amazon, you can write it as Amazon. If it's for something like Capgemini, you can put it as CG or Capgemini full form, whatever you wish to give. Okay, if it's for JP Morgan, you can just say JPMC or JPMC or whatever it is. This way, you can just give your organization names, just nothing but your name of your organization or the company. Okay, and just like everywhere, you have this naming convention. It should start with a capital letter. Okay, should not be more than 64 characters. The whole class name should not be more than 64 characters. No number. Okay, and the whole name should not exceed 64 characters. Now, this is organization layer. Now, coming back to the divisional layer. This is divisional layer. So you see it's just below organization layer, which means that this is a child of the organization layer, which means that this is a parent class and this is a child class. These two are classes, right? Parent and child. Now go back. Now this all about organization is done, layer is done. Now under each organization you have a lot of divisions. You have HR division, you have IT division, you have admin division, you have customer, there are various other divisions in your organization. Now assume that you are building a project for the payroll division. Okay, payroll team or the payroll division. Now assume that you have n number of projects in the payroll division. A lot of projects. One project is used to process your salaries, one project is used to calculate the bonus and other things. So you have n number of projects in your payroll division. If there is something common in the payroll division across all the projects, it can be code or it can be tables. Anything. If you think it is common, something like can be a table related to your salaries. Maybe I have a table where I'll just store the employee ID and the basic salary of him. I'm going to store. Okay, this table is used by all the payroll projects. Let them calculate bonus, let them calculate leaves and other things. Whatever they do, end of the day they hit this table, they fetch the data. Okay, so or it can be even some piece of code. So if there is something which is reusable across all the projects in the divisional layer, then we try to reuse it by, here it can be either code or tables. It can be anything here, but we usually put only tables. In organization and div layers, we usually put only tables. We don't put any code. Then coming to the div layer, now here the divisional layer name will be the name of the division. So which can be something like HR division, IT division, finance, something like that. Can be the name of the division. Now you can put anything reusable here. Then all the projects can reuse it. How can they reuse it? I'm just going to extract the jar of this divisional layer and I'm going to give it to them. They are going to import it and reuse the stuff which is present inside it. Now, framework. And I think most of us keep using frameworks in our day-to-day life a lot. Framework layer. This is the place where we put all the reusable code and data, of course, data tables. Now, those who know Pega to a certain extent don't think that framework is the framework which you buy from Pega systems. Okay, no, it's not something the frameworks that Pega systems sells you. Okay, we also build framework layer. It's something like this. Suppose within the division, okay, within the divisional layer, again under division, there are some projects which have uh, some basic code in common. Let's say, for example, under banking or under the finance thing, I have a claims project and I have a claims project. And this claims project again have two sub projects like credit claims and debit claims. Means claims which occur from credit card transactions and claims which occur from debit card transactions. Okay. So the code might be common for credit and debit except few areas which are different. But there are two different projects for this. One is dealing with credit card claims. The other one is dealing with debit card claims. Now, if there is something which is common between these two and you want to share it, okay, what you can do is you can put it in the framework layer. Why not in the divisional layer? Yeah, under divisional layer like finance, you have a lot of projects. But this specific things like flows and UI and some things are only common between these two projects. Okay. So I don't want to put them in the divisional layer because it's not reusable for other projects in the divisional layer. It's only between few of these projects. So I prefer to put them in the framework layer. So only those projects which are close by to my project, I share it with them. Something like the example I have given, debit card claims and credit card claims. So I made a debit transaction. I lost my money. Maybe it was deducted twice, or maybe the transaction was posted, but I didn't receive the amount from the ATM. So it can happen with credit card, it can happen with debit card. So it's quite common, right? I swipe a card in the supermarket. The amount was deducted twice. It can be from a credit or a debit. So the code was almost common, at least 60% it was common. So I didn't want to rebuild everything in both the projects. I thought of reusing them. So we put it in the framework layer. Whatever code and tables which are reusable, you can put it in the framework layer and you can again share it between the projects by extracting the jar of it. You can do it. So this way we make framework layer reusable. Now what will be the name of the framework layer? Uh, so it's usually like your application name followed by FW. So if your application name is claims, we call it as claims FW. Okay, that will be the name of the framework layer. Then comes the last layer, which is basically the layer which holds the very specific code of your project. Okay, this is called as the implementation layer. This holds the specific code of the project or your application. So here, whatever is present is not reusable. You cannot share it with other projects. Okay, this is something very much specific only to your current project. Again, the name here is usually your application name, and it will be followed by something like uh, work data int. Okay, something, okay, just take it, it will be like your application name. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm not recollecting this name. It'll be usually like this. Uh, Let me take HSBC. It's organization, division. I'm just thinking of my class names. Give me 1 second. Uh, in case if there's any mistake in this, I'll just get back to you. I'm not recollecting right now, but this should be the one. Okay. See, how do we name each of the layers is the organization layer will be just the name of the organization. So maybe HSBC, Amazon, CG, JPMC. A divisional layer as it inherits from organization layer. Each of these layers inherit from the other layers. Divisional layer inherits from the organization. So this is the parent, this is the child. So the layer name here will be, suppose if it is HSBC, let's consider only HSBC for now. Sorry for the interruption. So framework again inherits from the organization layer. It doesn't inherit from the divisional layer. Look at the diagram. Okay. So this is going to be, and when it is framework, you always have a keyword FW. F frame W work. Okay. HSBC hyphen FW hyphen. Suppose if this is claims, claims FW. Okay. And then implementation. Yeah, implementation is a name, organization name followed by division followed by implementation. This is fine. This is correct. Okay. So implementation again will be your organization name followed by the division name followed by the current implementation layer name. Okay. Let's again talk about the naming conventions. Organization name, just the name of the company, HSBC, Amazon, Capgemini, Virtusa, whatever it is. Divisional name, organization name hyphen the division. So HSBC hyphen HR, HSBC hyphen IT, HSBC hyphen finance, HSBC hyphen payroll, can be anything. Framework, HSBC, no division, okay, because it doesn't inherit from divisional layer. HSBC hyphen, the keyword FW hyphen, the name of the application. If it is claims, claims FW. You can just write here application name it is. Whatever is my app name followed by FW. Even here, it's again implementation layer, organization layer, followed by divisional layer, followed by the application name. See, these two are almost same. Only thing is like it doesn't have a FW here. So how do you recognize in your real time which is organization, division, framework and implementation layers? Let me log into one of my applications. Okay, now look at this. So this is inheritance. So the bottommost layer is implementation layer, whose parent frame framework and division. So both are its parents. It's like this. Both are its parents. Oops. What did I do? Okay. So you can just move it like this. So implementation layer has both the parents. Then division inherits from organization. Framework also inherits from organization. So at runtime, if I'm searching for a rule, if Pega is searching for a rule, at first you're going to check in the implementation layer, not found, check in the framework layer, not found, check in divisional layer, not found, check in organization layer. Still not found, you get an exception. Okay, but this is the way in which it will search for the rules hierarchy, implementation, framework, and organization. Now understand this diagram: organization, division, framework, implementation. You see some dotted lines and some solid lines. Okay, so there is a difference between them. We'll learn about inheritance in the later sessions. Then I'll tell you the difference. Dotted line is pattern inheritance, and sorry, yeah, and the other one is direct. Solid lines are direct inheritance. So when I teach you inheritance, I will talk about this again. Now look at this diagram. This is the core PRPC software or the product which you buy. Okay, so all the OTB rules are present inside this. I'll talk about work, cover, data later. Okay, just think that this is the software which we bought, the Enterprise Edition Pega tool which we bought, which is holding all the OTB rules and tables. Now, upon this, I'm building my project. So first, I have built an organization layer, and this line indicates inheritance. So your organization layer inherits from this, which means if the rule is not found in organization layer, you go and check in the Pega's OOTB rules. Here you will be search checking. So first you will check in implementation layer, not found, check in framework and division, not found, organization, not found, your PRPC product. Okay, this is how it works. And below organization, you have division, framework, and implementation. So look at this. Implementation has two parents. This side one parent and this side another parent. Okay. So when we come to inheritance, I'll tell you about this things. This is a small POC. Okay. It's a mini project which the batch prior to you has built it. This was named as city. So these are the class names. As you can see, these are the classes. Okay. City is the organization layer. Okay. I didn't have any frameworks or divisional layers. As I told you, these layers are optional. Organization and implementation are mandatory. Division and framework is optional. We didn't create framework and divisional layers, so you will not see them. And this is my implementation layer. City hyphen. Look at this. Organization name hyphen. Application name. CB. CB means chargeback. Hyphen work. This is my implementation layer. If I had a framework layer, it would be like this: city hyphen fw hyphen and so on, application name hyphen work would be there. Right now I didn't create framework layer, so I don't see it. But if it was a framework layer, you will see this keyword fw. If you see the keyword fw in your class name, it's a framework layer. Similarly, if I had a divisional layer, I would have seen the division name like HR, finance, banking, payroll. You would have seen that. Okay, we didn't create it, so you're not seeing it. So this is how you identify your layers in the application. Just you do a down arrow, you will find the class names. Looking at the name, you can judge whether it's an organization, division, or framework or implementation. Framework is pretty easy to identify because you have the word FW. Okay. Implementation is almost similar to framework. The only thing is you don't have the keyword FW. Organization, anyways, you can identify single word, it is just the name of your organization. Division, you will find things like HR, IT, banking, all these things. That is division. Okay. Any questions to here, guys? Yeah.
Yeah, Nikhila, I have one doubt. Could you please go to that notepad once? Yeah, so here if we can see the implementation layer is you as you have said, it's the child of division layer or and framework layer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the naming convention, we can see only the division layer, HSBC HR. We have not seen the
Right.
framework layer in the naming convention.
Yes. Awesome, guys. So I didn't put the naming convention right. The reason is because we have different types of inheritances in Pega. We have actually two types of inheritance. I'll talk about inheritance later in detail, but just at a high level, your naming convention defines your inheritance in Pega. Suppose if my name is Nikila, okay? So in Pega, it will be like this. It's like your parent's name hyphen Nikila. So the class name will be like this. So Nikila, parent name hyphen Nikila. So it means that it also tells about my parent name. So if you look at this, app name hyphen HR hyphen HSBC. So app name is my current class name. HSBC HR is my divisional layer name. So which means that I'm telling who my parent is. Okay. So I can only define one parent here. Now, yes, I inherit from framework, but it's not a part of my name. But there is a different way I declare this as my parent, which I will be teaching you in the later sessions. But for now, I can show you, but you may or may not understand. If you have prior Pega knowledge, you can understand. If not, you may not be able to understand. I'll explain in detail when we discuss about inheritance. Okay. So you can define the other class here. Suppose you can define your framework layer here. And you can say I inherit from it. Okay. So if any class inherits from two different classes, then one of the class name or one of the parent name will be found in your name. The other one would be found here, the place where you define inheritance.
So anyone in the naming convention and anyone in the class inheritance.
Yes. So these two are my parents. So right now CB process is my current layer name. So city-cb-work is my parent class. And of course, this is also my parent. So this class has two parents. One is this, the other one is this. Just like here, you have two parents, this and this.
Okay.
So what is the meaning of work and hyphen implementation name?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. Before that, let me also tell you something. In any project in PRPC, like we will usually have framework layer as a like this only. You will see the inheritance like this for the framework layers. We don't see the framework layer as your parent name in your class naming convention. Okay. So why do you do this? Frameworks are not something which are built in your application. Not always, right? Sometimes I can even purchase a framework from Pega systems. Pega sells a lot of frameworks. Okay. So maybe you have built your project, you define your organization, division and implementation layers. Now I'm going to purchase Pega, framework from Pega systems. Then of course the framework name will be different, right? Will it have HSBC? No. HSBC bought the framework from Pega Systems. So obviously it will be Pega Systems hyphen something something. Okay, some XXX, some YYY would be there. Then how do you expect it to be a part of your naming convention? It wouldn't be, because I bought it from Pega Systems. Then how can I inherit from it? You just define it as a parent here. Okay, and maybe I didn't buy it from Pega Systems, but I took it from another project, because framework layer is reusable, right? Framework, division, organization layers are reusable. Now, how would it be? Yeah, I took it from another project, but it's from the same company. So it would be HSBC hyphen whatever, their application name, or they gave some generic name hyphen some generic application name. Again, none of these words match my project layer names. Okay, so that is the reason usually frameworks, we don't have them in the implementation class names, although it inherits from it, because they are may or may not be from your same project. They might be bought from outside, or they might be taken from another project, so the names doesn't match. They are always like this. Here we define them as the parents.
One more question, Nikhila. Does Pega support multiple inheritance?
Yes, it does support. And that's why even it's asked in interviews, Pega is built on Java. Java doesn't support multiple inheritance. How come Pega does it? Okay, I'll answer this question while we talk about inheritance topic in Pega.
Okay.
Now, coming back to the question, what is this work?
Nicola, one small query.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, as of you told, we cannot use the implementation layer as a parent of another class. So when a project is built on implementation layer, and if you want to reuse it, so we can reuse these rules of the particular project one in project two.
Implementation layer is the specific code of a project, cannot be shared across applications.
There is another option, like when we are creating application, at the time we can in the last step we can mention the particular class application implementation like class so that we can use that. Is it possible?
No, it's not possible. See, implementation itself means it's the most specific code of your project. The rest three are reusable.
But one of my manager told that we can use the implementation layer where we have developed the rules to the another project by specifying the particular project name when we are creating a project.
Okay, we'll do one thing. I'll show you project creation in the next couple of classes. Look at it. You tell me if you find an option, okay? Till 8.2 or, there is no such option to reuse. But let me show you how do you build it, and I'll show you like it's not reusable. But if you find
No,
something,
I'm just clarifying. That's it.
I agree. See, I don't know, like if he's trying to bypass in any other way, maybe I can't say that, right? If he's just doing something to bypass this and he's making it reusable. So I'll just show you how Pega works, why it is not reusable. You can even ask him, like, in what way do you think it's reusable? Is there any other way? Maybe he's trying something new. You just check it out. And if yes, it's too good. Okay. But theoretically, or so far, it was never reusable. But by any chance, maybe they are doing it in some way by bypassing something. Good to know that. Okay. Now let me answer this question. If you look at the enterprise class structure diagram, you always see this words work dash cover dash data. Okay, and some places you will also see int, int. So what are these? And even if you look at my application, you'll always see this word work, city hyphen cb hyphen work, city hyphen cb hyphen data, sorry, int. Okay, so every class, will have this work, data, and int. These keywords will be found. What exactly are these? Just like in Java, you have one topmost class. Even in Pega, we have a topmost class. So at the rate base class is the topmost class in Pega. Everything is going to inherit from this. Okay. So below which you have some out of the box classes again. Work, data, int, rule, okay, etc. etc. Lot of classes are there. A lot of classes are there. Okay. Now let's talk about the frequently used ones. Work, data, int, and rule. Work means this is a class where you're going to put some business rules. Means if I have a class like the city-cb-work, I am supposed to put business rules in this. Business rules means flows, validation, UI, decisions, etc. All business rules. Then what is data? Data means DB tables. So I put some tables, just to fetch the data and display it on my screen. I've put some tables here. That's data layer. Int, integration. Which means connecting to SOAP, REST, MQs, JMS, whatnot, all integrations. Any integration, okay? Any integration. Int layer. Rule, all rules. So what are rules in Pega? See, just like in Java, what is a rule? Anything which is executable is a rule. Anything which executes. A function is a rule. A validation rule. User interface rules. Decision rules. All these are rules in Pega. Anything which is executable. You run it, it executes, it just, it gives you some output. That's a rule. So all the rules inherit from rule dash class of Pega. So this way there are a lot of classes in Pega, and every single thing you create today is inheriting from each of those classes. Just good to know if you know about these four, because there are some things which you use in day-to-day life. Okay. Any questions still here, guys?
But in work class, you told business rules are flows, validation, decisions, etc. UI and etc. UI, decisions, etc. Those are also rules only, in Pega.
Which one? Sorry, I didn't get it.
In work,
In work, I said all these are there. Yeah.
business rules
Yeah.
like for flows, validations, UI, decision, all these are also rules only.
Right. So work
But
class is
what
a
is the difference
collection.
between work class?
What is the difference between work and rule dash? Work is
Yes.
a collection of rules. So in work class, you put all business rules under it.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Nicola, same question again. Actually, even I didn't get it. See, under work, we are putting these flows, validation, UI decisions, which all are rules. So in data, we are putting DB tables, integration, all integration related things. And under rules, this rule hyphen, what we are exactly putting?
Okay. We don't put anything under rule hyphen. It's like this. Let's take rules alone. It's a rule dash class. Okay. Now, if somebody is creating a decision, okay, somebody is creating a decision rule in Pega. This rule, decision rule, inherits from rule dash class of Pega. Suppose if I am creating any let's take a validation. Again, it inherits from rule dash class of Pega. So any rule you create is an instance or it is inheriting from rule dash class of Pega. Okay. And again, if you talk about work dash is just a package of all these things. So I have decision, I have validation, I have flows, etc. Yes, decision, validation, flows, all these inherit from rule dash class of Pega. I'm just grouping them under work dash because work dash is a collection of business rules. I didn't say they inherit from work dash. I say that they are getting grouped or packaged here. So at runtime, decision will call validation, validation will call some other rule, flow will call decision. So they're just calling each other and they're executing my code. That is what they are doing in my work dash class. The rules are just grouped here. Just like class is a collection of rules. Work dash is a class. It is a collection of rules. It's a collection. Whereas here, they inherit. That is the difference.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Because I see something in the chat. Let me look at this.
Nikhila, one question in the previous screen.
Yeah, please. Hey, you went on mute. I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. One question is on the enterprise class structure. If you can go to that image, please. The previous.
Can I still hold it? Oh my god. I doubt. I think I just wiped it off and I came back here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Not
It's
this one.
long.
The enterprise class structure slide,
Okay.
whichever you are doing, right. Yeah. So in this, let's say you told that framework layer we will be creating. But if a organization buys a framework from Pega also, and if there is one more framework layer which was built in that organization, how is it managed? Can we use both the frameworks or
You can use them.
framework
If
at a
you
time?
have something like that, you can use them. Now, can somebody answer me how can we use that? Okay, I'll explain you inheritance, then you can tell me about this. Uh, Inheritance. So what exactly is inheritance? Just like in real time, you inherit from your parent. You inherit your property of your parent, right? The same way, inheritance is always about children reusing parents' code. So vice versa is not possible, right? Does your parent inherit your property? No. Same way. Even in Pega or any other tool or technology, inheritance is all about children reusing the parent's code. Vice versa, not possible. Now, what are the types of inheritances we have in Pega? Two types: pattern, directive. Let's talk about pattern. So, to make things easy in Pega, the naming pattern indicates your inheritance. So, if my class name is HSBC hyphen um, something like X hyphen Y hyphen Z, which means that Z is my current class, whose parent is Y, whose parent is X, whose parent is HSBC. So the naming pattern itself tells you what is your inheritance. So Z is my current class and so on and on. At runtime, if I am trying to search for a rule, if it is not found in Z, I will check in Y, not found in X, I'll check in HSBC, and so on and on till at the rate base class. So after this, you will go to work dash class of Pega, then its parent, and finally you end up at the rate base class. That's pattern inheritance. Why directed inheritance? Yeah, I purchased a product, a framework from Pega Systems. I want that to be fit into my application. How do I fit it? Because it has a different name. It has a name like Pega Systems hyphen Healthcare hyphen some XYZ. I don't have such kind of layer names anywhere in my project because my organization name is HSBC. There the organization name is Pega. Here my division layer name is X. There it is something different. So it doesn't fit in my inheritance. Now that is the reason you need directed inheritance. So now when I purchase a product from Pega Systems or framework from Pega Systems, it can be something like Pega sys hyphen again. It's like A hyphen B hyphen C. Now in order to make this reusable, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it as a directed inheritance in my class. So if you open the class, this is implementation layer. Implementation layer only inherits from framework. Division, organization, they do not inherit from framework. They are the parents. Okay? So they don't inherit from framework. So only implementation is the only child of your framework. So remember, you have to go and open the implementation class, right click, say definition. You will get this screen. Now here, define whatever is the new parent class which you bought from Pega Systems. Just define it here. Then you have two parents. One is city CV work. The other one is Pegasus A-B-C. Okay.
Okay.
Now, question to everyone. I have my application like this. So my organization layer, my division layer, I had framework layer. Why this much space? Now I bought a new frame.
Nikhila, I have a question.
Let me complete this, yeah. Then we can go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Implementation layer. So I have all these things. Now I brought another framework from Pega Systems and I want to fit it in my layers. How do you do that and where do you do that? Okay, tell me, how do you do that? How do you fit it into the current layered architecture?
Nikhila, maybe we.
I lost your voice.
Uh,
It's breaking actually.
Can we fit it between a division layer and framework layer?
Okay, but how do you fit it?
Not sure. It's just a guess.
You just, I just.
We can place it. We can place it in direct inheritance.
Awesome.
In the implementation layer, we can place it that framework layer in the direct inheritance.
Right, great. So I got the answer, guys. And today I think females answered me. Okay, so yes, it is between the division and the framework. Mostly we place it here. And how do you do it? Just now I answered you. Whatever you want to make as a parent, we just put it in the directed inheritance. Can you see? There are only two ways to inherit, right? Now, okay, I purchased framework from Pega Systems. How can I inherit it? There are only two types of inheritance. One is pattern, the other one is directed. Is pattern possible? No. Pega Systems has a different naming convention. So the only option you are left over with is directed inheritance. That's it. So place the new framework layer here and just use direct inheritance. Who will have this? This one will have it. Either you can have here. Now you can ask me, Nikhila, why not in the implementation layer? Look at this. Can you have more than one directed parent here? No. So if I say this is my directed parent, then how can I inherit from this again? I can't. So this is a child, this is the parent, whose parent is this one, and so on and on. Okay.
I have a small question.
Yeah, please.
Why can't we inherit from the framework class,
Means what
framework
exactly?
layer?
From framework
We
layer,
have developed a framework layer.
right?
So the rules may be most probably frequently relevant to the layers, framework layers only. So why can't we inherit from the framework layer
Which one? Like who
ap-
should inherit?
apart from new framework layer, which we have got from the Pega
So
systems?
you're asking like, why do you want this? Why do you want to buy it?
No, no. See, we have a framework layer and we have got it from Pega systems.
Is
One new framework
no.
layer.
Does that mean the structure should be like this?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Why can't we do like this?
Okay, so tell me one thing. Initially, this is how your project was built, right? So you already built your framework layer. You kept everything reusable. Then
Yes.
why did you again go and buy Pegasystems framework layer? Because there is something which is not present in this, which you want to make it reusable, right? So when you buy it, it's above you. That is the reason you're buying it, right? It's not present in your layer, so you're buying it. So it's above you, right? Why would it be below?
Okay, got it. I haven't heard the point which
That's okay.
when we work like this.
Okay. Now, from interview point of view, when I hear it, like if you attend at least 10 interviews, at least 6 to 7 interviews will always ask you, please talk about enterprise class structure and explain me the class structure of your project. So those of you who have already Pega experience, or if you at least saw Pega projects, please remember the naming conventions of your classes. Okay, what's your organization layer name, division layer name, implementation and framework layer names? Write it down and remember the names. That's one thing. Second thing, when you answer this question, try to answer with an example. Tell them in the organization layer, we can place something like an employee details table so the table can be reused. Divisional layer, you can put some tables which are reused across the division. Something like if it's a HR division, you just talk about payroll division, you put some salary details. Depending on the project which you have placed in your resume, talk about that. Okay, don't give examples which are not related to your project, because it gives an impression that did this guy really work on the project? Why is he not talking about his project and giving some other external examples? Okay, so when you give the examples, please say it relevant to your projects. Framework layer, tell them I have a workflow which is all about a registration process. As this is reusable between credit and debit, I place it in the framework layer. Or I have a chargeback flow which is common for both credit and debit, so I place it in the framework layer. So that way, give relevant examples and explain what is that. Implementation, the rest of the piece of code which is very specific to my project, I kept it in my implementation layer. Okay, so we have 4 layers. Division and framework are optional. Organization and implementation is mandatory. The rest too you can create or you can ignore. And the inheritance is implementation inherits from framework and division. Division inherits from organization. Framework also inherits from organization. So you can think like this, like these two are siblings. Okay, this is how it is. Take a picture with your eyes. Remember this, okay? Org layer, below which division framework, below which implementation. If you remember this diagram, it's quite easy to answer. All clear? Any questions? Anything confusing? I lost power. I may lose Wi-Fi. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Let's see if it disconnects. I'll connect back again. All good? Okay. Let's do one thing. I'll try to get some interview questions for you on enterprise class structure.
Nicola,
Mhm.
Nicola, can you come to the screen, full screen, like the snapshot interface class structure vision? Please, that's first one. Yes. I am not able to get. See here, you have been directly given a straight line to the PRPC,
Mhm.
and for implementation layer, you have for giving from implementation to framework. This flow I'm not exactly getting.
Between what and what? From implementation to framework, you have inheritance. See, what I spoke in the diagram, I'll explain you here, then tell me what is the gap. Implementation layer, implementation layer. Two
Hmm.
parents, div and framework. Div, there's a line, framework, there's a line. No other lines, right? All good. Now, div inherits from organization, framework inherits from organization. Both inherit from organization. All good. Again, organization inherits from PRPC, div inherits from PRPC. We didn't talk about this.
But see, these arrow marks like
Where to where? Which arrow you're
these
specific?
are from implementation layer to framework layer.
Okay.
These are marked like this in this format.
You mean solid lines and dotted
Means
lines?
from implementation.
Okay.
See, in this implementation, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
implementation layer and framework layer.
Mm-hmm.
See, implementation layer is connecting to framework layer. After that, it is coming connecting to PRPC base product.
All these three layers at the end of the day inherit from PRPC base product.
Okay.
All these three, organization, division, and framework, they all connect to this.
Yeah, got it. But then you are can show those snapshot that's screen previous. Hmm. When you see the enterprise class layer, it is connecting to PRPC, and our division it is connecting to PRPC. But when you are showing the framework, it is implementation is connecting to framework, and after that framework is connecting to PRPC.
Right.
This
So that's what it is, right? Implementation layer is the bottommost layer, the specific layer of your project. So this is
yes.
inheriting from framework. Framework is inheriting from PRPC. Implementation layer is inheriting from framework. Framework is inheriting from PRPC. Child, parent, grandparent. Still confused?
Hmm.
What is bothering you so much?
Uh, Something like implementation layer connecting to framework layer. After that, it will be connecting to the Pega PRPC.
Okay, let me tell you one thing. See, framework connects to PRPC, division connects to PRPC, enterprise connects to PRPC, but this is the last option. Okay, so if you look at this, let me take my implementation layer. Okay, now if I right click on my class and say inheritance, you will see a diagram. Implementation layer. Okay, it again connects to PRPC, right? But see, implementation layer, it went to its parent implementation only. Then it went to again, these are all implementation layers only. This is organization. Okay. From organization, you have work
Hmm.
dash cover dash work at the base class. Unfortunately, I don't have framework here. Even if you have framework here, okay, it will not connect to your RPC immediately. What I meant is, I'm searching for a rule in implementation layer, right? So you're thinking it'll
Hmm.
search in framework. If not found in framework, it will go to PRPC based product, right?
Hmm.
Is that your question?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Now, can somebody in the session answer me this one? How does this work, guys? I'm searching for a rule in implementation. So it'll go to framework, not found. It'll go to PRPC is what his doubt is. So where are the other layers coming into the picture? Can someone please answer this?
In in pattern inheritance.
Pattern inheritance.
Yes, awesome. So you have two types of inheritances, right? In those two, always pattern inheritance takes precedence. So pattern takes precedence, which means that if I'm searching for a rule, first I'll ask my pattern parents. So this is implementation layer. Okay. Implementation layer's pattern parent is division. So first I will search in divisional layer. I will not search in framework layer. If it is not found in my divisional layer, then I'll ask the framework layer. If it is not found in framework layer, then I will go to the organization layer, because pattern, dotted line indicates pattern. Not found in organization, does it have any pattern parents? No, right? Then PRPC. Again, let me explain. First, I'm searching for a rule in implementation layer. I did not find it. I have two parents. First pattern takes precedence. Dotted line indicates pattern. So I went here, I checked. I did not find the rule. Now come back. Check in your directed parent. I did not find the rule. Now you have again two parents, pattern, directed. Go to pattern. Check here. Did not find the rule. I don't have pattern parent. So I end up at the directed parent PRPC. So this is how your search will work. Pattern first, directed later. So you're going to cover all the layers before you end up in the PRPC base product. Okay. So tomorrow I'll have a couple of questions for you on these two topics, on enterprise class structure and inheritance. Be prepared. Okay. Just go through it, learn some blogs, learn some videos, go through them. Okay. I'll put some interview questions on these two topics. Let's see if you can answer them. Okay.